Hi there, welcome to Real Life on the Homestead in Ontario. And if we haven't met, I'm Marie. If you're coming back, thank you for joining us again. I really appreciate your support. It's been a great holiday season. I hope you've enjoyed it with your family and friends. I'm sorry I didn't get to some of the videos I promised I was going to post. I had a friend lose a parent, and when you're dealing with real life, friendship and support comes before making YouTube videos, so I hope you understand. But I am back in the kitchen. I made my family's holiday meals, and now we have some leftover turkey and leftover roast, and everybody's having sandwiches, and I don't want to feel left out. So I'm going to be making some carnivore buns today. Now, before the carnivore police come out, I am using milk powder, and that does have some carbs, but it stays well below the ketosis levels. So let me just go through this with you, and you'll see how simple this is. And I think maybe you can make yourself some buns, and you can use these for anything. You can make burgers with them. You can just have sandwiches with them, because sometimes you want something to hold onto your filling. So we're going to start off with some eggs, and the recipe is for 4 eggs. However, my eggs right now, because it is cold out, the chickens are laying just a little bit small, so I'm going to be using 5, but that's just because I'm assessing how my chickens are doing and I want to make sure I have the right amount. They're still beautiful eggs. They're just, like I said, on the smaller side. So instead of 4, I'm using 5. This is a very, very simple recipe, by the way. And let's get my whisk out. I'm just going to beat my eggs so that they're nicely combined whites and yolks. You don't need a mixer for this, not a hand mixer, not a stand mixer. I'm also going to be using 1 tablespoon of baking powder. No, it's not an animal product, but when I'm baking, I do use the baking powder. I'm okay with it. I do use the one without cornstarch, but if you're sticking totally to animal products and you don't want to do the baking powder and you don't want to do the powdered milk, then this recipe is not for you. Everybody does whatever works for them. And I think that there's enough deviation in this that it will not affect my diet at all. And to this, so you have 4 eggs, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1.5 cups of powdered milk. Now I'm going to just change the angle on here so that you can see how it combines. So much for changing the angle and not turning the video back on, but we're just finishing up here. And see the texture that I'm looking for? It is a sticky batter. See that? This is what we want. And we're going to try and get 6 buns out of this. There you go. See that? That is the texture we're looking for. And the best way to do this would probably be to divide it out before putting it onto my cookie sheet. So let me just grab some parchment, because this is very sticky. I don't want to put this onto my counter. So I'm just going to put this out onto my parchment here. And now we can try and divide it a little bit more equally. Because this is such a sticky dough, what I'm going to be doing is just wetting my tool and my hands as I work. So let's just like I said, I'm trying to just divide this so that the buns are pretty much equal. So, oh, super sticky. That's 1. Wet that up again. Another one there. And this may seem tedious, but remember, you're not going to be doing this all the time. You're not going to want buns all the time. This is just an occasion where you want to treat yourself to the sandwiches the same as everybody else. There we go. So this is our 6 buns. Now to have them molded, what I'm going to do, just move that over again. I'm going to wet my hands, come here, grab one of these, and I'm just going to mold it into a little round patty. Just started my oven because I need it to be preheated to 375. So here we go. Look at that. If you wet your hands, it's a lot easier to work with. If you didn't, trust me, this would be all sticky and gooey. Getting my stuff out of the way so you can actually see what I'm working on. Wet my hands again. Now you see the consistency we ended up with. So if when you're making your batch, depending on your egg size, of course, if it's too runny, add a little bit more milk powder. If it's too dry, you could add a little tiny bit of water, like, you know, a teaspoon at a time, just so that you end up with the consistency that we have here. Now these are going into a 375-degree oven for 11 to 13 minutes. I'm gonna bake these and show you what we end up with. Now, while the buns are baking, let's talk about those dreaded carbs that everybody freaks out about. Yes, milk powder does have carbs. And I looked at the ingredient and nutritional value of this milk powder that I'm using, which is whole milk powder. And it is 12 grams per 3/4 cup serving. That makes it 24 grams for this recipe. Divided by 6 buns, it's 4 grams of carbs. That is nothing to stress about. But if you don't want to do it, by all means, don't do it. This is your journey. But for me, 4 grams is nothing. Remember, under 50 grams, you can probably maintain ketosis. Not everybody can, but always judge your own journey and how your body reacts. I know that 4 grams of carbs is nothing. I'm probably getting more if I use cream in my coffee. Remember, under 50 grams, usually ketosis. If you're doing low carb, it's under 125 grams of carbs. So you're good. This is not something you would be having every day. Don't suddenly go, I'm going to have buns or a couple of buns every single day. Well, then you're going to throw your system off, and that's not what you want to do. But like I said, we're doing this on occasion. Don't stress. Proper human diet is not meant to be stressful. It's supposed to be easy, and it is easy. If you're just cooking animal products, usually beef, bacon, eggs, and butter, it's a pretty simple menu to stick to. So our buns are baking, and let's talk about what the future holds for us. Carnivore month is coming up. January is Carnivore month, and that was started back by Dr. Baker when he decided he wanted to have a month to celebrate this wonderful diet, going back to our ancestral proper way of eating. And a lot of people will do their New Year's resolutions and decide that they're going to go carnivore or lose weight, whatever your motivation is, that's up to you. But what I'm gonna do is I invite our viewers to join our challenge. But 1 month is just gonna get your body getting into the system, detoxing all that garbage that you've been putting in your body, getting yourself balanced out. Some people do go through that keto flu where your body gets fat adapted, going from using sugars and carbs as energy, and then suddenly you're going to be using fat as energy. That sometimes takes 2 weeks. Some people 3-4 weeks. Everybody's system is different. So that's just the first month. Why would you suddenly say, okay, I'm done? You don't have to do it for your entire life. You can do it when you want to just reboot your system, but you will feel so much better. Your inflammation will be gone. You'll have mental clarity. You may want to do it longer. I say you should do 90 days minimum. And what I've discovered over the past year, because I've been doing a lot of trials, I've gone through doing carnivore, keto carnivore, just low carb, trying different things, seeing what works for me. And I notice that when I introduce the carbs back in, or I introduce any sugar, my inflammation goes nuts and I don't feel well. And that mental clarity, I start getting that brain fog where you're searching for words. You forget what you're doing. At some point, everybody says, oh, that's normal for menopause. Well, you know what? I think I'm past that, and it's just brain fog, and I like the mental clarity. So what I'm planning to do for my personal journey is I will do mainly carnivore, so I will use spices and other items here and there. And in the summer, because I'm on the homestead and I can grow certain vegetables, as long as they're low oxalate vegetables, I may have those in. So I'll do a keto carnivore type of carnivorish diet, but I'm gonna do what's best for me and you're gonna do what's best for you. So I invite you to join me along on January 1st and ongoing. I'm gonna try to post a daily update so that you can work along with me and hopefully comment on your journey and what's going on. Ask questions. Let's help each other with the answers. I think our buns are pretty much ready. Let's just check that. Yeah, we got 2 minutes to go. I'm gonna pull them out of the oven and show you what we ended up with. Look at these. They smell really good. I'm just gonna put them down. Cookie sheet is quite warm. Now these took me a total of 14 minutes. I look for the browning, and let me just point you down again. I look for, and I'm gonna use a tea towel because they're so warm. I want this color. See, the bottom's a little darker because remember the milk sugars will darken up. We're gonna let these cool just for a little bit and then we'll cut into one so you can see what we ended up with. Just gonna put these on a cooling rack and then we will cut into them to see how gorgeous they are. They're very fluffy. Well, these cooled off just enough so you can handle them. Let's cut into one and see what we ended up with. Wow, look at that. Oh, smell is wonderful. These have a great texture. Now, some turkey on here, some of my butter mayo. We're good to go. Well, this is great. So I hope you've liked learning how to make some carnivore bread with very, very few carbs. If you like this type of content, please make sure that you are subscribed to our channel and get notified of upcoming videos. Like our videos, comment. I like to hear what people are thinking. Even criticisms. I don't mind taking constructive criticisms. And if this is not for you, it's not for you. Don't need carnivore police here. But if you're planning on doing that January challenge, make sure to stick around. I'd love to have you come and join us. No memberships required. This is just us sharing information with each other. We can be a community without memberships. No worries. But anyway, go out, live your very best life, and we'll see you next time.